Buying 0.21 Bitcoin today can make you a millionaire. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly why that can happen, and it can happen much sooner than you possibly think. So watch until the end. But if you're tuning into this channel for the first time, my name is Crypto Kid. I've been making content about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for the past 4 years, and we made a similar video talking about 0.1 Bitcoin approximately 1 year ago. And today, 1 Bitcoin costs $84,500. And I want to tell you why owning 0.21 Bitcoin can make you a millionaire. So how much is 0.21 Bitcoin today anyways? Well, that amount of Bitcoin is currently worth about $17,400. And for us to reach $2 million, the price or the market capitalization of Bitcoin would approximately need to go to 200 trillion. So at 100 trillion, then you would become a millionaire from $17,400 of an investment into Bitcoin. Now, 200 trillion, or let's say even 100 trillion, sounds absolutely absurd. How can Bitcoin go from a $2.5 trillion market cap to 100 or 200 trillion? How does that even make sense, Crypto Kid? Well, the thing is, Bitcoin is monetary energy. It is the center of monetary energy designated on the internet in cyberspace. And we know that all of the money that is currently in existence, the US dollar, and any other currency is based off of a very, very corrupt financial system. The system that we operate in allows institutions to go ahead, or the federal bank or the central banks of the world, those institutions to create money from thin air. It all started back in the 1910s when they had to fund the First World War. They decided to issue bonds. And through that bond issuance, they were able to raise money from their people and spend that money on war. But what happened after the World War, they couldn't pay back the interest on those bonds. There wasn't enough money left. So they ended up issuing new bonds to collect more capital and to pay back the original investors. That references a Ponzi scheme. And in the 70s, it got worse. Nixon removed the gold standard. So now, officially, you could just print money from thin air. And then the 2008 recession, things got worse again. And recently in COVID, in 2020 to 2021, the central bank of the US printed double the amount of money supply in existence, causing Bitcoin to go from 10K to 69K, causing altcoins to go up, and everything in the equities market to go up. And when they print more money, they obviously make money less valuable. They print money to fund their debts, but the more money you have, if demand doesn't keep up with it, which it doesn't, it's impossible, with that much amount of printing, then the money depreciates in value. So when Bitcoin goes to the upside, or when the stock market goes to the upside, actually, the stock market and Bitcoin, they're remaining flat. It's just the US dollar that's seeing the decline. And maybe a Bitcoin stock market, they go up a little bit more, but essentially you're combating inflation. And I think Bitcoin is the best tool to combat inflation and make extra returns with. So in the foreseeable future, there's going to be tremendous amounts of money printing that's going to be sustainably continued on for many, many years. The US current national debt is $38.5 trillion. They need to refinance $7.5 trillion this year, and they will do that through money printing. The government isn't making $7.5 trillion. So how can they sustainably fund their business through the profits they make? They don't make those profits. So what happens? You go to money printing. And if you don't print money, then the country goes bankrupt. And if the country goes bankrupt, then there's a great financial reset where everybody goes broke. And obviously they want to avoid that for as long as you possibly can, but you can only avoid this debt bubble for only so long. You can print, but eventually your money is going to collapse and it's going to go to zero. And when money goes to zero, that's going to be the aha moment, because the average Joe, they're living in this corrupt financial system and everything sort of works. Yes, there is inflation, but unless you're in hyperinflationary countries, you're not very impacted. Okay. But eventually, even the largest economies of the world, they're going to go into hyperinflation where the average Joe is going to suffer. They're going to suffer a lot. And then there's going to be a search for a remedy to the problem. And the remedy is going to be Bitcoin. You will be able to use Bitcoin. It's only finite, limited to 21 million Bitcoins only. 21 million Bitcoins only, uncorruptible. You can't print more of it. It's unhackable, unconfiscatable, meaning no government can take and steal your Bitcoin from you, like what happened in the 70s in America. Bitcoin is the remedy. It's the natural remedy. You can transact between each other without relying on a bank. You can do it within seconds with a second layer. It's the perfect solution. It's the perfect solution in the digital age. It is the perfect solution in the hyperinflationary age. So naturally, people will go into Bitcoin. You may think, okay, will they go into, like, let's say Zcash or Ethereum? No, absolutely not. All of these projects have founders. All of these projects they have CEOs and offices and individuals tied to them. It cannot replicate Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the one, and nothing can replicate Bitcoin. When people flock into Bitcoin as the remedy, then currently the $200 trillion worth of currencies that is floating across the world, that's all going to flow into Bitcoin, making Bitcoin's market cap, essentially, hypothetically, around 200 trillion, which would take your $17,400 worth of Bitcoin, which is equivalent to 0.21 Bitcoin today, to $2 million. Isn't that fantastic? And if you really want to become successful in crypto, this is an answer that people don't want to hear because it's so easy, it's so simple, it sounds so simple. And most people want to overcomplicate things. But if you want to become really successful in crypto, then in my opinion, if you buy Bitcoin daily, a same recurring amount on a consistent basis for as long as you can, the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, then I think that money will compound into something incredible. And you can do the calculations for yourself over on ChatGPT. Einstein marked the law of compound interesting one of the most powerful forces in the universe. Because, I mean, for a reason. If you buy something consistently and that thing is appreciating constantly in value, because the US dollar is collapsing, then over the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it's going to create generational wealth, which you can pass on to your kids, and then your kids can pass on to their kids. And the only vehicle that can offer this remedy is, I think, Bitcoin, and no other financial investment vehicle, to me, offers that same opportunity as Bitcoin does. So if you think that you're late into the game, I really don't think that you are not whatsoever. Very limited people in this world have a time horizon of 10, 15, 20 years, and even a more limited amount of people are willing to do that compounding of interest on a daily basis. But if you don't want to do that, which you can do easily on the exchanges linked down below, you can set up a bot and it can do it for you. But you can go in and directly buy that 0.21 Bitcoin if you wish to do so, obviously. It's completely up to you. My job is to just transfer a message, and then you can do whatever you want with the message. I think that Bitcoin over time is going to be worth significant amount. So guys and girls, we can talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but I think this is the most simple economic principle to understand, that the financial system is corrupt and that Bitcoin is the remedy. If you want to study more into it, I would definitely recommend reading the Bitcoin Standard, The Creature of Jekyll Island, to understand how the Federal Reserve works, and other books that go into specifically how the Fed was created. And how the JP Morgans and how all those bigger institutions came together to bail out the automaker industry. And then it sort of developed into this Ponzi scheme. And as soon as you fall into the rabbit hole, everything will just make perfect amounts of sense, and you won't be able to get out of the Bitcoin rabbit hole. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe to become a crypto kid for daily technical analysis and Bitcoin price analysis videos. And I'll see you on another episode. So guys, take care. And as always, bye-bye.